Yeah, so I thought of making a video about whether you can remember memories of a past life. Now, I personally can't say that I have a memory of a past life, that I remember a past life. But other people have argued that they have. Now, how, what to make of that? So the first thing I want to make it clear is that memories are necessarily fallible. Uh, Meaning that the fact that you remember something doesn't mean that it happened. The reason for that has nothing to do with biology, neuroscience, or psychology or psychiatry. It has to do with physics, um, specifically quantum field theory, the observer effect. You can show that depending whether someone perceives the measurement of an observer, it changes reality. Therefore, the choice whether to observe or not observe a reality changes physical reality, and therefore you can have different. When someone observes an experiment or not observes an experiment, there should be different, irreconcilable realities. Like for example, if you connect this to, let's say, use the double slit experiment to measure the whether through which slit a particle passed, and you connect that through a contraption to something like Schrödinger's cat, where making the measurement or reading the measurement kills a cat, then when one is reading the measurement and one isn't, then the cat is both alive and dead. So what happens when they meet? And when they meet, if you assume, say, the many worlds interpretation, then if your memories haven't changed, then whomever you meet, memories has to change, because they should have remembered they haven't made the measurement, because the cat has to be in one state. And if you don't assume the many worlds interpretation, you assume the theory, then the memories would have to reconcile. And if you're going to assume that only someone else's memories have to reconcile, then you're kind of like rejecting, like you are embracing a type of solipsism, I would argue. You're thinking that you're the only one that matters, that the only experiential agent that matters. So, and then, so their memories, if their memories change, you should be honest and assume that your memories are fallible as well. So memories are fallible. So memories of a past life are fallible too. Now, without, so I don't have a real account of like remembering a past life, but if you remember a past life, it cannot be like that you have, like, you inherited the memories of the person after they died. Like, we know that if, say, you drink alcohol, when you damage the body, you may have blackouts. And if you suffered head trauma, then you have memory loss. And if your brain disintegrates, you suffer from Alzheimer, you lose all memories, like potentially. So there's no reason to assume that after the total destruction of the body, you somehow inherit the memories that were left after the body died. That doesn't make sense, because it's completely not different. It doesn't sit with what you know about your reality as an experiential agent in the present. So what you're actually asking for, if you're asking whether you can remember a past life, is whether you can time travel to the peak of one's life in the past and perceive what they perceived and experience what they experienced. You're asking for about time travel. Now, notice how you're also asking for a very very particular type of time travel. Like, most of the time, if you time travel to someone else's to not someone else's life, they would be, I don't know, eating, sleeping, gossiping, going to the restroom, things like that. So it wouldn't be emblematic, and it wouldn't leave you an impression. And if you're, for example, let's say you see the scenery and it's so different from yours, notice that it's not their experience that you perceive, because for them it was regular. Like, if you see, like, if you, let's say, remember the time of the pyramids, and you're seeing like a pyramid there, it was mundane there. It wouldn't have amazed them in any sense or left an impression. So it's not their memories that you actually inherit through time travel. It's actually that you get to look at reality through their eyes, but not through their perception. So just pay attention to this is what you're talking about. Otherwise, you wouldn't be able to acknowledge the fact that this is a time travel, that this is a past life, and not just you being that. So, whether that kind of time travel is possible, I'm not going to go into that. But you don't have a good. I assume that when you say that you have a past life, you don't have a good theory of how that works. What is more likely is that you don't have a theory, or that you make stuff up, like just put things that don't make sense, and you know they don't make sense, but you still say them because you can. And I also notice that when you have when you have a memory of a past life or whatever it is, in what way is that different from a memory of a dream? I mean, it's just a memory, right? It's just an impression. How do you know it's real? Like, you already know that memories are fallible. And now you know that the things that happening in a dream, well, you don't believe that they are real. Like, there are such horrible time paradoxes if you assume that your memories are real. Like, for example, if you meet your parent when they were kids, or when they were younger, and you are still the same age, then there's a time paradox there. And like, you don't assume that your memories are real. So why, if you get this impression of a past life, why should you assume that that is real, and you know that memories are fallible? Now, that doesn't mean that you can't experience a past life. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying that if you're going to assume physicalism, that the physical world produces experience, the experience of remembering a past life, then you're in a lot of trouble. You're actually arguing. You're not arguing for memories, for epistemology. You're talking about time travel. But not if you are assuming the theory. If you assume the theory, then you're in a better spot. If you assume the theory that experience is fundamental, first, you know that experience, nothing produces experience, nothing ends experience. Therefore, you can assume that experience will persist after your death, and it has persisted after the death of your ancestors. So that's all fine in that sense. And you know that experience if it doesn't persist in you, then it has to drift to someone else. That's all good. So you get that. So you get that kind of like sharing of experience between experiential agents, as you would when remembering a past life. And you also have this phenomenon that the theory mentions, which is it calls experiential trails, which is the fact that the experiential movement is a movement between a past body and a future body. And during that transition, during the experiential leap, you have trails of both the past and the future. So you of the future, experiential future. So you have, like, if you say you drifted to be in the time of the pyramids, and now you drift back to the now, your experience drifts now, not you, your experience drifts now. So you have the impression of the past in you as you drift back into the future. And then you can have like what you think is a memory, but it's actually an impression in the here and now. You don't have the memories, you don't have the brain, but you do have like that impression, and that stays. So in that sense, it's possible to have an experience of a past life. But the thing to notice about this is, the reason this is possible is because you assume the theory, and what the theory also argues is that my experience is your experience, is the same metaphysical element in all of us. So if you experience a past life, it's not your life. Your life is constrained to the body that you are in. But the fact that you drifted from the life of someone who lived in the time of the pharaohs to now bears no relation between your life and their life. And it is their experience. You are them the same way I am them, the same way you are me, the same way everyone is everyone. So it's not your memory. It is you can call it a memory if you want, but it's not yours. And you remember it. You have like some kind of a mental marker about it, but it's not because of some kind of relation between you and that thing, that person in the past. It is simply that you happen to do that expansion movement, and I can do that movement too.